Welcome to The Victory Show.
Hey, Victors, welcome to another episode of The Victory Show. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Travis Cody, best-selling author of 19 books and the creator of Bestseller by Design. I've had the privilege of helping hundreds of business consultants, founders, and entrepreneurs write and publish their own best-selling books. And through that process, I've discovered a fascinating pattern. Most businesses really struggle to break past that seven-figure per year in revenue. So on this show, we sit down with some of the world's most successful founders, CEOs, leaders, and business owners to uncover the strategies they used to scale way past that mark so that you can model them and do the same. So get ready for some deep insights and actionable takeaways that you can implement in your life and business starting now. Today's guest is on a mission to transform how students and universities connect with purpose, precision, and of course, AI. Ashish Fernando is the founder and CEO of Edmo, a next generation education technology company delivering enrollment centric solutions to institutions like NYU, WGU, Kaplan, and beyond. Ashish's passion for education was born in India, where he attended a high school founded by his grandfather. How cool is that? And has fueled every step of his journey ever since. After earning his master's from Bentley University in the US, he set out to bridge the gap between education and the workforce using technology that actually empowers students and admission teams alike. So at Edmo, he's helping universities guide students towards degrees aligned with real world career goals and then streamlining enrollment and unlocking new opportunity at scale. He also hosts the podcast EDU Unlocked, where he explores the future of EdTech with top educators, innovators, and he runs the Global Survival Guide, a YouTube channel offering tools and support for international students navigating the education system worldwide. The thing is, he's a believer in action over perfection, and his work is reshaping what education can look like, especially in this age of AI. Ashish, thanks for being here today.
Travis, that introduction actually, like, it's like I surprised myself.
You're like, hey, I sound pretty good on paper. This is fantastic. We'll see what
Yes,
happens
yeah.
when you take an action over perfection. You forget to stop and look at how far you've come.
Oh man. Well, thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction. And
I
I'm
I
delighted to
gotta
be.
say, you're the first person we've ever spoken to who's so a relative actually founded a school. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So you said so your grandfather founded the high school?
Yes, he did. And everybody from my siblings, my dad, my uncles, aunts, they all went to the school that my grandfather founded, right? So it runs in the
What?
family. Yeah, very closely, deeply tied. Even now, I actually go, every time I go back, I visit my school, I give back to the high school. It's
Wow.
just, yeah, it's amazing how childhood shapes you, right? And like if you ask me who's like in the top three people who impacted my life and all the things I do today, my grandfather's probably number one.
Well, also that's quite the legacy though, too, going back to something, realizing that it wouldn't have existed if your grandfather hadn't done something. Like
Yeah, oh yeah.
and and look at how many people's lives that's changing. So, all right, so we can sort of see where you get your penchant for wanting to work in the education space. So I'm sure he would be proud of you, like the next generation of taking education into the AI space. So so when you came to the US to go to school, did you know that like business is what you were going to do? Like you had already honed in of like something in business?
Not really. Well, I did eventually, but you when you were when you were introducing me, you introduced purpose, AI, and then precision, and I'm like, Travis, yeah, that one I kind of doubt because I was, a lot of what I did was go with the flow, to be honest. And it was a lot of trying to get opportunities, trying to work hard, and precision. I think now I'm pretty precise in what I want to do, but back then, no. So I wanted to come to the US. I really wanted to experience this side of the world. I'd worked with some US customers from back in India, and it was kind of like everything was coming together. I was like, I really like interacting with Americans. Where else do you start any conversation with, hey, what's up? How's the weather? How are things? Talk. I
They
was
don't
like,
do that in India?
Not even close. Like I talk a lot of examples to share, but I'll share one. In India, it's so different. Like when I go now, and I'm like, let's say I'm flying with my mom, right, and we enter the aircraft, and I have a little small talk with the flight attendants, right? And if it's like a young lady and I'm having this like just, hey, hi, okay, is this your first flight of the day or whatever? My mom, like, slaps my wrist, like, don't talk to women like that. Don't keep talking to everybody. I'm like, Mom, it's American culture. It's so good. I'm just trying to do the same.
Everybody's friends with everybody.
So no,
Oh,
it
that's
really,
funny.
that's what kind of pulled me to America, and I was lucky enough to get a 100% scholarship for my MBA, and I made it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So when did so you come here, you kind of follow the flow, you start working on business. So was there like a turning point where your brain went business and education at the same time? Because I think most people, it's either one or the other, right? And something for you connected the two where you went, hey, there's this need that's being filled. That was there a specific, like, I guess, experience that kind of sparked something that made you start thinking about that?
Yes. First, I'm not a good operator. I want to have people who are good operators
Mm,
around me, but I really, I can take a vision into execution and just keep doing the same thing every morning, right? So for me, when I came to the US and I applied to schools and colleges, and I was like, oh my God, like you get an admit from University One, and if you don't make don't lock in your admission by making that payment, then you lose that. But then the next institution, you get that admit after a month. Like, what do you do? So it's like, so I'm like, why does enrollment have to be so hard?
mm.
And that's when I tried to kind of just be vocal about it. So that's when I started you mentioned my YouTube channel, Global Survival Guide. One of the first videos I did was it was an iPhone 5, back in 2014 or whenever. And I had it on a front cam, so like front camera, so not even good quality, right? And I was just kind of just talking my mind out, like, guys, this is how I like navigated education. And everybody in India told me, what do you mean you want to do an MBA in the US for free? You don't have money, you cannot go, whatever. And I'm like, don't believe them, right? Because I got it. As some institution decided to give me a full ride, and I'm here and I love it. And that video hit, I think, 1 million hits in a week or something. It just kept growing, growing, growing. And I had students reaching out, and then in a few weeks, it was 1.5 million hits. And that's how it started, actually. Everything put together, my love for working with the American culture, American people, getting my business degree, telling my story, my grandfather being in education, therefore me wanting to. It was just kind of this perfect storm
Wow.
that made me start iSchoolConnect, which is now Edmo. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So walk us through the first couple of years then well, let's walk through the first year. You get the idea, you launch it. Did you launch it when you're still in school or did you do it when you got out?
So I started my YouTube channel when I was in school. Yes. And I so right after MBA, I said, okay, I should get a regular job, like a regular student from outside on a student visa. Don't try to be too smart and, try to swim against the wave. And so one interesting thing happened is like most, Indian kids like me who are here, were like, let's get a secure job at one of the big techs, so Facebook, a Tesla,
Yeah.
right? Meta, Google.
That's when you've made it.
That's when you're like, yeah, it's a checkbox for your mom, So I interviewed for Amazon and I got a really nice chunky offer, right? And this was in the Alexa voice division. Back then, Alexa was just being launched and it was the hype, right? But I decided to also let go of that offer and join this guy who was starting an AI company. and he gave me a pretty bad like haircut on my salary. So I went from like, Amazon's offer of like 150 plus with stock options and things like that to like 65,000 a year. And he
Did you
said,
tell your mom?
she was mad at me. My girlfriend back then, yeah, even my girlfriend is now my wife, and eventually we made it together. She was also like crazy, like you're crazy. What do you mean? Why do you want to do that? Can he even sponsor your work visa? You're an international guy. I just loved how he thought about AI. This was 2014.
So you're talking AI 5 years before anybody
Yeah.
even really knows what that means.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because for me, it was fascinating. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the future. It's kind of like somebody's talking to you about the internet before you've even seen it.
Back in 98, right? And talking about the
Yeah.
internet, and people are like, what do you mean the internet? That's
What do you
hokey
mean
thing.
everything's connected? And you're right. So, and I'm so glad it kind of AI turned out to be what it turned out to be. But so I told him, listen, I really love your ideas and what you're doing. I want to learn about AI. And that's because I want to start a company of my own later. So I told him that. So my offer letter from that company was one of the most unique ones. It actually had a clause that said Ashish is interested in starting and doing something around student enrollment, blah, blah, blah. And the company will not touch any of those assets and ideas.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
that's
had
pretty.
this, yeah, like Amazon's never going to let you do that. Right. If you're building a company while working for an employer, all of what you build belongs to them. Right.
Yeah.
But this guy was like kind enough to do that, and he later on tells me like you're gonna love where this is going, because the day I told him I'm ready to go out and start my company, he said, "What can I do to hold you back? Because I
Wow.
love what you do and how you work." I said, "Stop being my employer, start being my investor." I literally said that as a joke, and the guy dropped $1 million, yeah, in my startup. And he tells me, later on, he's like, "I never believed in your idea, and even when he put the million, he said, I never believed in it, and I still don't believe in it. But what I believe in is you." And your ability to take something and figure out, oh, this is working or this is not working, pivot till you get to where you're going to get to. So he said, "I trust you with this $1 million." And that was my seed money. It was pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah. Wow. What an experience to launch with that way. All right.
Yeah,
So how did the pressure change then? Now you're no longer employed and you got $1 million in seed money in the bank.
that's right. Yeah. And,
Did
I'm
you
a,
have a few sleepless nights of like, uh-oh, we really got to get going now?
isn't it funny how it works? Like when you don't have the money, you still have sleepless nights. And then when you have the money, you still have sleepless nights. That's just the life of a founder.
It's just a different type of stress.
Right. And just the type of, you're right, the type of
Uh,
stress changed, but now you have the pressure of at least returning the dollar for dollar that you took from somebody, right?
yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. And for an Indian guy, like $1 million, that sounds like a hell lot of money. So, but I'd done the math, and even a million was not gonna cut it if I did not, start building revenue in a year and a half or so. So it was a race against time, late nights, hard work. And I'm a scrappy founder. I mean, some of my Indian roots still remain. So I stretched the dollar. I fly coach, my team flies coach. I live at a fairfield, not a courtyard. Like that's just like it's part of the DNA. So I was able to stretch the dollar a lot. We were cash flow positive within year one.
Wow.
Yeah, so a big kudos to my team, the way we kind of thought of building the product. And yeah, we sold a big chunk of our company to Turnitin, which is a large US entity, within the third year of existence.
Wow.
So
So
yeah,
your investor got his money back and a little sum?
I didn't give him any money back.
No, not yet.
He said, "Oh, what are we doing?" And I said, "We're taking all of this money that we just made from the sale and make it our non-dilutive Series A." So I never raised Series A. And I encourage a lot, I always encourage founders to think that way, right? Is you don't have to raise if you don't have to raise.
Yep.
But it's become, the funny thing about startups today is you get a pat on the back based on how much money you raised and not how efficient of a business you built,
Yep.
right? That's just how the world is set up. And I think it's sad because then first time founders like myself get into that, stream of thought that, oh, I need the pat on my back. The only way I can show success after 5 years of running my company is raise a Series A and show my valuation, right?
Yep. Even
Uh,
if you're bleeding money, even
even
if you're doing stupid stuff of like you're not cash flow positive, but you're staying at the Ritz-Carlton.
right, exactly. You're
You know, it's
throwing
interesting that so like in the startup space, then there's the skills, right? There's the skill of pitching. So that's a skill. So if you're really good at pitching, you can raise the money. But then there's also the skill of running a business, right? And
yeah,
so much emphasis gets put on the skill of the pitch of what you can do. Like, so I worked in Hollywood for 15 years, and that the thing that but nobody talks about, especially in the acting field, is it's sort of the same way. There's two skills. There's acting, but then there's cold reading, auditioning. And if most people focus so much on acting and they never work, and I have a couple of friends that they realize quickly, like, I need to focus all of my skills on auditioning so that I can actually get the job and then I can learn to act while I'm on set. And they work all the time, right? And so it seems
yeah, that's a good
that's
example,
very, I would have never thought that that was also in other industries. So,
right?
wow. All right.
Yeah.
So walk us through that first year then for you as a founder. Like, what did that look like for you? Like, was it the first 3 months where you were all alone, or did you hire a couple of teams right out of the gate? And what was your strategy for growing into the company you needed it to be?
Great question. If I did all of this again, there are a few things I wouldn't do. Right? The first thing I wouldn't do is start a company alone. Uh,
Yeah.
right? Being a sole founder, I used to be very proud of it when we started, but no, even two is a small number. Right? I think you need at least three people.
By
Because
month three, you were second guessing whether or not you should have been the sole founder.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because it's like, a question on budgets and finance, you have to deal with it. Sales, you have to deal with it. Operations, how you're gonna build product, you have to deal with it. You make the final decisions. It's hard. And you rather, you know, give 50% of the equity that you would have otherwise had as a sole founder away to two other people, and the third that you have left will actually make you more if you pick the right people.
Mm.
That's one big lesson I
That
learned.
is a huge lesson. Everybody's so sort of like wanting to hang on to everything that
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so for me, I did learn that pretty quickly, though, that I'm on a path to failure if I'm going to keep doing this on my own. So I was lucky enough to hire two people uh, who joined me at the managerial level, and ended up now I've actually given them co-founder status in the company. I changed my title from founder to co-founder, and I
wow.
said, you guys bleed Edmo every day, every night like I do, and so you deserve to be a co-founder and CXO. And oh my God, best decision ever. Gave them equity. One of them is my CTO, manages all of the tech and our Mumbai operations. So we have all of our tech team in Mumbai. He's in Mumbai. The second guy, he's my COO, manages our Delhi office, and all of our business processes. Best decision ever.
Wow.
Learned
So
that
how
to
did
be,
you go about finding those first two key hires? What was your process?
yeah, both
Word of
of them.
mouth, former college buddies?
Actually, both of them, interestingly enough. So when the company I was working for, the guy who put in $1 million said, "This is great. Here's $1 million." I said, "I need one more favor." And he's like, "Now what? You got the million. You got your chance. I'm actually gonna help you get a work visa and a green card," which he did. Right. I said, "I need that to be able to run a business in America. Right. You
Yep.
cannot do that on a student visa." He helped me legally get the status I needed. And then still I said, "I need one more thing to safeguard your million and for us to be successful." He said, "What?" I said, "Give me a free pass to pick one person in your company, and I need them to join my company." And he did let me do that. So I picked a guy who became my CTO, right? Because I knew him. I'd worked with him in that company, and I knew, oh my God, that's the kind of DNA I need. He's my polar opposite. I'm eccentric, I'm loud, I have very low tolerance for, like, patience, low patience, low tolerance for stupidity. He's the opposite. He's like the calm, like, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out."
Oh,
And I
that's
love
funny.
that. And my second co-founder, I actually picked him out of one of my competitors, and he was doing really well there. And I said, "Listen, you can be at that competitor, be at a lower level, do whatever, maybe make some good money, but here's what I have to offer. Help me grow from zero to where they are." Yeah, he left everything, moved all the way across from Delhi to Mumbai, across the country.
Wow.
Uh, oh my God, I'm just super lucky. So I think
So
that
that first guy, did you poach? Did you go, I know you're making 65. I'm gonna offer you 50.
no, I matched it. I matched it. That's funny.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
matched it, gave him a better title, but also, for him to, because we were just a 5-person team. Today we're 150, but we were 5 people, and he was in a company with like 12,000 people. So for him to leave all that, come all the way, yeah, and he was just about to get married, all of that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, no,
So did
learned.
he end up getting married, or was that
Yeah,
like he was about to get married and then he moved?
a few things came together for him actually, because COVID hit. So
Uh,
he was able to go back and live at his house, and then by that time we grew big enough for him to say, "Ashish, let's start an office in Delhi. Let me hire some people here. I'll run the show here."
mhm.
And I was like, "Brilliant, just do it." Right. So it just worked out.
That's fantastic.
Things work out.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's dive in a little bit about what you're actually doing with Edmo, and especially like talking about how AI is bridging this gap with education, and especially when it comes into this enrollment process. So, let's start with what's broken with the current enrollment process, and what is Edmo doing to like sort of bridge that gap and help, up level what everyone's experiencing from both the college side as well as the student side.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in education, a lot of things are broken, and most people I talk to, like, they've had an experience themselves or their kids or somebody, right? And you always have this, "Oh my God, yes, Ashish, it's broken because of this." So I don't know if in my lifetime I can fix all of those. Actually, I won't be able to, right? So I had to pick one area of education that I was really passionate about, and I could rally a team around that passion, right?
Mhm.
And I said, I was thinking, like, what would my tagline be if I'm meeting a Travis randomly and he says, "Ashish, what do you really, really care about?" And and for me, I always say employment and work choices actually start with enrollment choices. What am I enrolling in? Where am I enrolling? And what am I going to study, right? Could be online, could be at home, it doesn't matter. But what you end up becoming really depends a lot on what you choose. I made a wrong choice, and I don't want other students to do that. Even though education runs in my family, I did my bachelor's and my master's in biotechnology. I'm nowhere close to that. right? And
Was there a reason why you ended up there?
bad choices from me, my parents. So I wanted to be a bass guitarist. You'll actually, I don't know if you see it on the camera,
You
but
know, we
there's
got a couple of guitars back there.
right. So I wanted to be a bass guitarist. That's all I cared about. And in India, that's not what you do. You know, you either go, you either need to be a doctor, you need to be an engineer. That's it, right? So I failed every test possible, every entrance exam, you know, application for being a doctor, being an engineer. I failed everything because I didn't want to study. I wanted to play guitar. And somehow my parents convinced me that it's not the right path. I'm actually very thankful to them. The chance of succeeding being a musician is way, way lower than being a techie, you know, with
Yeah.
computers, right? Just statistically. Yeah, so that's kind of how I decided. My parents were like, fine, at least do this thing. My friend said biotechnology is really coming up, and this is what you should study, right? Because I was like, fine, I'll do it. So I did biotech, did my bachelor's. Then I said, you know what, this may be the right path. I'll do my master's as well in India. So I did my master's. I actually wanted to prove a point to my parents and my relatives and everybody. And so I decided to study really hard, and I was valedictorian. So in India, you call it the gold medal. I got the university gold medal in biotech just to prove everybody wrong that, you know, that I cannot study or I'm a dud. I was like, no, I'm not. I'll show you. I just wasn't interested, right? And then I said, but I don't want to work in a lab filling test
Mm.
tubes with something, trying to experiment on the same thing for so long. And so that's kind of how I was like, oh my God, I made a totally wrong decision. But now I'm going to take my life into my own hands. Thank you, Mom. I'm going to do what I want to do, right?
So was there a collective gasp when you said, I'm going to America to study business?
Yeah, my mom actually thought I won't be able to. She said, try it. That's what you want to do. But I don't know if we can, you know, collect that much cash. Like, how are we going to fund it? So I don't know. We'll figure it out, right? We'll see. I'm just going to apply. And if I don't get admitted to any school, fine, great. I'll at least know I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did apply, and oh my God, I was so delighted to see that admit letter coming in from Bentley that said, you're admitted, plus here's your scholarship letter. I'm like, oh great, scholarship, maybe, you know, 5 grand, 10 grand. And I opened the scholarship letter, the PDF attachment, and I was staring at my screen for 30 minutes, Travis, because it said 100% scholarship. You don't have to pay a dime.
And you were like, wait, what?
I was shocked. So yeah, you know, yeah, I knew at that point. That's what, like, I joked about precision. I'm like, yeah, till that point, nothing was precise in my life. From then on,
It was.
everything has been extremely
Well, what
precise.
kind of a fun, like, I mean, as a story overall, it's, you know, you have this one thing, you kind of do what people tell you to do, and then you finally go, oh, I want to do this, and then just to see like how sort of focused your life has gotten and like the results you've had of that.
Yeah.
So how are you guys leveraging AI then in the systems that you're using to kind of, you know, help students find a path that's more suited to who they are versus what their parents may tell them they should be doing?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and this is, I think, one of the other lessons that I'd love to give while I'm telling this. I'll try to be brief. Is at some point you have to connect your passion for building something to actually revenue, because otherwise you're not going to
No.
sustain. Right? So it has to be that balance. You cannot be going passion, 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 but not generate money, and then you die anyway. So then you're not going to be able to add that value. That's where we've had to pivot. So our initial starting point was, we're going to use AI to help students like me find the right institution, efficiently apply to 10 of them with one click, use AI to do all of this work, see if their profile's perfect, you know, look at their essays, look at it, engage with them, communicate. That's what we started building. It went great. It just didn't make money. Right? So,
So that was pivot number one.
pivot number one. So pivot number one was it didn't make money. So start thinking about some other things of how do you. So we took all that technology. Pivot number two was the worst one during COVID, right? Because we were working with international students mainly, and COVID hit, and everything,
Oof.
boom. So that was actually a pivot to do something else temporarily till COVID lasted. And the genius of technology and AI, like in those 2 years of COVID, my team literally moved out of enrollment, took all of the AI that we had built and built a proctoring tool because during COVID, that's what
Wow.
schools needed.
Yeah.
And we built this proctoring tool. Within the first year, Travis, we did 5 million exams a year with AI to a point where we sold
Wow.
it, made good money, used that. By that time, COVID was gone, enrollment was back. We came back, right? Back to life with a new, fresh influx of capital without losing any equity.
So in
Um,
a period where everybody's saying, "Oh, what am I going to do? What I'm going to do?" You're like, "Well, got it." You know what's interesting about the fact that you pivoted? I was working as a copywriter during COVID, and I had two clients, and both of them were running seven-figure businesses. Both of them had high ticket offers, so their whole thing was cold outreach and content and generate calls and high pressure sales. Right? And it was interesting because COVID hits, and client A was, this is it, like let go of all his staff. He's like, we're done. There's nothing we can do. And the other guy sat there for like a week and went, okay, so the model we've been using for the last 5 years, that's no longer going to work. Nobody's going to do high ticket now and nobody has a job. Pivoted from high ticket into low ticket. And that year, I think they doubled the revenues.
wow.
And so it's just interesting to see
Pivot.
one guy like, oh my God, and fired everybody and like closed down. And the other guy was like, well, what we've been doing didn't work. So what are we going to do now? And then it took him 2 weeks to kind of think through it. And then they pivoted and went off.
It's great.
So for
It's
you
great.
guys, right?
That's
Like
a
everybody's
great
like, oh my
example.
God, what are we going to do? You're like, well, we're in this thing that we had no idea what we're doing. And then like, oh, we sold it. And like, oh, hey, now we have more money. Let's go back to what we were doing.
Right? That's a great example. Like 2 week pivots are amazing. Like you can pivot in 2 weeks. People don't realize it. Like, so what? It's I'm a huge fan of Richard Branson, and I hope I meet him. He's getting old. I hope I meet him, for his time on earth is over. But one of the things that I read in his books, like I'm like, oh my God, this is the mantra of my life is screw it, let's do it. Right.
Mm.
And that's how we operated. Like even our investor said, Ashish, your business is gone, write off. And we're like, no, no, no. Guys, screw it. Let's do it. What do we have to lose?
Got the team, you got the skills.
You got the team, you got this.
I one of my mentors in the marketing space uh told me a story once where he was on Necker Island with some other marketers and had opportunity to have dinner with Richard Branson. And so Richard Branson's the head of the table, and my mentor was just to his right. And he said, so
Wow.
they were chatting with him, and then he was running an eight-figure business, and he's like, Travis, I looked at him and I said, Mr. Sir Branson was asking about goals and whatever, and he said, you're a role model of mine. Like, I would love to be a billionaire. Like, what do I got to do to become a billionaire? And he said, I'll never forget it. He just looked at me and he said, you need to get rid of all of your bad millionaire habits because that's what's holding you back. And I
Right?
was like, and they said,
Awesome.
and he said, I was insulted at first, but he's like, on the flight home, I just started thinking about that, going like, the whole point was what got me to, an eight-figure business is exactly what was going to keep me from getting to a nine-figure business. You had to
Yeah,
like base everything you learned to that point. You got to let go because it's going to take more skills to go from 10 to 100. And if you say, I'm just going to keep doing this, you'll just stay at eight figures.
you
So
will.
I
Yeah.
just
Oh
thought
my
that
God.
I just thought that was
So true.
fascinating. Where the guy is like, well,
So
you're, because most people think, I get to $1 million, we got it made, right? I'm a millionaire and my life is fantastic. And look, some people are happy to stay there. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, there's other people that want to push more and do more and impact more people, right? And it's you never arrive in business. All you do is get to a new
no,
level and go, great. Now I got to start from all over again because now all the skills I had no longer serve me where I'm going next.
absolutely right.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
So
That's
what does the next sort of 5 years look like for you guys in the education space? Where do you see, by the time we reach 2030, where do you think things are going to be?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, that's why, and we connected passion with the final pivot that I think we're pretty much settled now is we took we took all of that passion, what we were doing for students, we pivoted to a B2B model. So now we sell to institutions. And when an institution deploys Edmo, it automatically impacts all the students in their funnel, right?
Wow.
So now we use AI to, the minute a student comes in, look at their documents quickly, help make decisions quickly on scholarships, things like that, engage quickly. And AI we're just scratching the surface, with AI. I think there's so much more to do. So 2030, I'll even say like by 2027, our plan is to get university enrollment to a point where it's like buying insurance for your car or something, right?
Wow.
Where it's less than 5 minutes. It looks at what you've got, your student records, your education records, learner records, where you are at, what you're capable of. Bam, here's a scholarship, start studying. That's the
Wow, that hurts my head. Well, what's fascinating about all this, and I know a lot of people listening to the show probably aren't super savvy with AI, but when you look at, obviously OpenAI is the big dog right now, and they're running on what? Their learning models running on 300,000 GPUs.
yeah.
And Elon Musk has got his Colossus Center that's going to be at 1 million by the end of this year. And I know OpenAI and NVIDIA just did their big deal where there's something like 10 million GPUs by the end of 2027. So you just think of like what we're doing on 300,000 GPUs right now, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" And then we're gonna like 1,000x that in like the
Yeah, can you
next few years.
imagine
I just
that?
my brain is like does not compute. It's hard to imagine what we're going to be doing, but
Oh
I
yeah.
I just think about like when I went to college and just how much time it took me to one just do the research, but then two to like have to fill out every like I got to the point where after 3 schools I'm like I'm not getting in these three. I don't care because I don't want like 12 hours of filling out applications later.
No, exactly.
So
It's
but
y-
and like so in theory then is your platform like for a student they could fill out everything and your platform in a matter of like 10 minutes would go based on everything you have here, like here's the 5 schools that you're almost guaranteed to get into with everything that you have right now
oh,
versus like people
absolutely.
sweating and wondering and what am I going to do. It's just going here's your options. Harvard not for you, you know, USC probably a good fit, right, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's actually not just a vision, it's become pretty much real. I have some of my customers and I can name a couple of them, like Western Governors University based here in Utah, National University based in San Diego. Western Governors enrolls 200,000 students a year. Like people don't even realize it,
What in the world?
right? Online university, but they can do it in a few hours. They can do everything. They can process documents. They can give you your scholarship, enroll you in a program, get you started, have an advisor, all of that within a few hours. The goal is to get it to minutes, but the traditional schools are usually by design traditional. So they're followers of technology and things like
Isn't
that.
it isn't it isn't it funny now in the education system when you say traditional university, it's like calling somebody a Luddite, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
come on, man, like just use the
Right.
dang cell phone.
Right. So gone are the days when, a Harvard and NYU and MIT can rely on just their brand to attract students.
Yeah,
They have to at some point start doing more because you realize that soon people are realizing I don't even need a degree. I don't need a college degree. I can learn from home and I can be better at what I want. Companies like Google are dropping the requirement of having even a bachelor's degree,
yeah,
right? So where does that put traditional universities? Like,
sure.
so they have to change.
Well, it's that the
That's
value for
what
the
they
money, right? I mean, in the 90s and the early 2000s, I think the schools could justify those high prices. But again, now with what AI is doing, right? I'm let's say I want to learn how to write fiction. So traditionally, I could have gone to, I don't know, NYU's literary program, right? Or now I could go to chat and go, I want to become a master fiction writer. Give me an 18-month like schedule itinerary, what to study. And in like 20 minutes, I got this 18-month thing where at the end of it, for free, just maybe some library rentals, right? So you're right. Like it's and the other thing, I'm going on a little tangent here, but I can see how schools may be getting frustrated with that, but anybody in the business space goes, yeah, you just got to be competitive, right? You got to actually prove your value to people now. You can't just coast on the fact you've been around for a couple hundred years. So, so if somebody's listening to this or they're reading the chapter in the book and they love what you're doing, how do they find you? How they get involved with what you guys have?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can find us on goedmo.com. That's goedmo.com. I also have my podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and it's called EDU Unlocked with Ashish Fernando. And for students, I'm running my YouTube channel. You mentioned it, Travis. It's Global Survival Guide on YouTube. I think I'm at about 80,000 subscribers. I don't get much time for it now, but it's one of the things I love doing on my weekends is, talk to students. So these are places you can find us, but yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to AI and EdTech, you're going to see Edmo in a lot of places because we're pioneering what AI can do for education in the enrollment space. I'll sometimes tell my investors, here's a blank competition slide. Go and find a competitive company, right? It's so we're really, like you said, we were ahead of the wave. Like even before AI was cool, we were trying to solve with AI.
Yeah.
So now we're finally reaping the benefits of that. Doing
Well,
that.
and you also now, because of the way the universe led you to go, like, you don't have, venture capital overlords telling you what you have to do. You're able to be strategic and follow the vision versus follow the guys pushing you because they want to hit some sort of arbitrary metric.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you said it. It's just me and the team, and keeping that team motivated constantly, and yeah, and that's the thing. We're training people in AI in education. We're the first, right? So when people come to work for us, we train them. But here's the thing: is we train them well enough so they can leave and get a really good job with double the salary, but we treat them well enough that they don't want to leave, right? So that's kind of how how I think of the company.
Imagine that, treating your employees like real people and helping them be fulfilled and happy.
Right? Imagine that. Yes.
Ashish, thank you so much for your time. This has been a fantastic conversation. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to be here.
Same here. Thank you, Travis. Thank you for giving me a mirror into my own life. It helps having these conversations. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right.